should we be surprised by the Cowboys' early playoff exit considering the history?
Did you say surprise? Is that what you asked me? Did you say surprise? I mean, come on now. Dak Prescott, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, 4 interceptions in the last 2 playoff losses. Mike McCarthy, 3 1-and-outs in 4 years as the Dallas Cowboy head coach. The Dallas Cowboys on the 28th anniversary of the last time they went to an NFC championship game. It's 28 years. It's 28 years. I mean, we're talking about, look, did y'all know that 28 years ago in 1996 when the Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl, did you know that, 10% of you, I looked this up, 10% of U.S. households had home internet connections. Google didn't even exist. You can't make this up. You can't make this up, man. And I just said to myself, I'm sitting there. Listen, I got to tell you something. In all seriousness, I am shocked at the fashion in which they lost. To get beat down, we all predicted that Dallas should win this game because we thought that Green Bay's defense was suspect. But we knew that Green Bay could put up points in them. But I must confess, Shay, I must confess, D.O., I was shocked at the beat down. This was a beat down. I don't give a damn about the final score, 48-32. Oh, no. 48-16 with 6 minutes left in the game. It was done, okay? What I was shocked by was the beat down. When they ran downfield and they scored, all right, you march downfield 75 yards. Aaron Jones was running the ball lights out. Okay, we get that. We saw that before. We saw that against Buffalo. We saw that against San Francisco. We got that part, okay? But Dak throws that interception. That was the first indication. And then after that, a pick six. You can't make this up. So I'm going to tell you this. I am surprised at the fashion, but I'm not surprised at the loss. When the playoffs arrive, palms get sweaty, backsides get tight, and you got cats that ain't ready. And nobody, I don't give a damn about the excellent analysis of D.O. I don't give a damn about the excellent analysis of the 3-time Super Bowl champion and the Hall of Famer Shay himself. I don't want to hear. I saw panic. I saw dudes who was shook. I saw a crew that was nervous, okay? And so we'll get into the ramifications, the fallout from this in a minute. All I'm going to say is I'm surprised at the lopsided affair that we witnessed, but I am not surprised by the loss because, D.O., I set it up beautifully, didn't I? I sat up there and I talked about those expectations. Right, and I let it climb. And they all got caught up in it. And Dallas Nation, Cowboys Nation was all caught up. And remember I told you, Shay, I don't want the fall to be light. I wanted it to be steep. I wanted it to be clear. And I wanted a collapse. And that is what we saw yesterday. They never let me down. I always say, be patient, just wait. It's coming. And boy, did it arrive. Thank you.
I'm not surprised at all, Molly. You remember a couple of weeks ago, I said the Cowboys are like my ex. I like them a lot, but I don't trust them. And remember, everybody was talking about this is the Cowboys' best chance to get to the Super Bowl. I said based on what? They went 12-5 last year. They went 12-5 the year before that. I said, so what's different about this year than the previous years? I said, absolutely nothing. I say they still do a bunch of talking. Jerry Jones is still in front of the cameras, yapping like he always does. It's funny. Stephen A., did you find it funny? Jerry Jones says he doesn't want to rank this loss. But let me tell you what happened on Thanksgiving when they beat the Commanders 45-10. I don't know if I had a day like this, and I'll include them all. I'll put Super Bowls in there. I don't know if I've ever had a better day with the Cowboys than today. But yesterday, he didn't want to rank it. But you wanted to rank a meaningless Thanksgiving Day game against the Commanders? I remember Michael Parsons, opening day. He said after beating the Giants, we're making the statement that I've been trying to make. We're the best defense in the National Football League. Really? I said, when you can't run the football consistently and you can't stop the run consistently, when you get to the playoffs, whatever your flaw is, it gets exacerbated. What couldn't the Cowboys do yesterday consistently? Run the football. What couldn't they do? Aaron Jones looked like Eric Dickerson running the football. He had 2 rush touchdowns all season long. He had 3 yesterday. 48-16. And Dak said, well, I got it going late. What you mean you got it going late? Bro, Dak numbers at 48-16, Dak was 24-39, 193, a touchdown with 2 picks. Now, he ends up with over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Bro, that was garbage time. Those are empty calories, which means you got fat with no nutritional value. I'm not surprised by this because I foretold of this. When you look at the Cowboys and the way they play, when they play good teams, this is what normally happens. Unfortunately, in a situation like this, it happened to be the playoffs. With all these expectations, man, the greater the expectations, the greater the hurt. I'm not surprised that the Cowboys lost. Yeah, maybe 48-16 at one point in the ball game, but no one should be surprised because if you watch the Cowboys all year, Stephen A., teams that ran the football, and I'm not trying to get wide, run outside, run right down the middle of the field because when they got those little small-ass safeties playing middle linebacker deal, because you know they like to play a lot of nickel, a lot of dime, you got those small guys, when those big guys scoop up on you, won't help you. This is what the Cowboys, this is who they are. They got to do some soul searching today. I've seen 12 wins, 12 wins, 12 wins, and they've come up short every single time. Is that the expectations of the Cowboys given who and what they are? Jerry hypes them up. See, the thing is that the fan base gets so frenzied by what Jerry is saying and what their players are saying. And when they beat up on a bad Jets team, and they beat up on a bad Patriots team, and they beat up bad on an early Giants team, and they get out and they score 40 and they score 50 points, all this, and everybody gets off. I'm telling you, you're not that good. Defensively, you're not that good if you can't turn people over. Green Bay protected the ball. Mike McCarthy is because the problem that I have with Mike McCarthy is because he told Jerry a lie. He wanted Kellen Moore out so he could call plays and said he was going to run the football more than Kellen Moore. And I'll be damn it, he didn't run the football less than what Kellen Moore did.
That's right.
He bears culpability in this. So at the end of the day, if you're happy with 12 wins and being one and done, Mike McCarthy is your guy. It's really that simple, D.O. Stephen A. If you want 12 wins and a possible division title and be one and done, Mike McCarthy is your guy.
Let me be very serious here because I want to veer away from the trolling and having a good time with all of this to get very, very serious here. There does come a point in time where Dak Prescott needs to shut the hell up. A standard, what would you know about the standard? You haven't lived up to the standard that was once set decades before you. Dallas Cowboys were winning Super Bowls in the 90s when Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, and Emmitt Smith was there. And ultimately, primetime Deion Sanders came there. The Dallas Cowboys were winning in the 70s when you had Roger Staubach there, okay? With the Drew Pearsons of the world, with the Tony Dorsetts of the world. They were winning. What would you know about that if you are a Dallas Cowboy since 1996? You wouldn't know anything about that. If anything, all you know is that historically there was a standard that you have failed to live up to in your entire career in a Dallas Cowboys uniform. And I say that respectfully, and here's the reason why, D.O., Shannon. Put them up on the screen because I want to look at them, please. It comes a point in time. We all know that Dak Prescott is an incredible role model, is a really, really good guy, really decent guy. He's class personified. We know all these things. We say all of these things. But have you noticed that most analysts have gotten to a point where we preface anything we say about him by bringing that up? The time has come to stop all of this. Sure. We're talking football. We're not talking anything else. We're not talking about your character. We're not talking about you as a man. We're not talking about how good of a person you are. We're talking about the fact that come the month of January, you plummet. You have a winning record in every single month but January. That is not an accident. That is not an accident. So we don't give a damn about Dak Prescott's endorsement of Mike McCarthy. A matter of fact, if we do give a damn about it, it should be for the opposite reasons. The fact that Dak Prescott endorsed him is more of a reason he should be gone because he can't seem to get more out of Dak Prescott than we need him to get out of him. Now, as it pertains to Mike McCarthy, let's be clear. He has to go. He has to go. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not just about the 12 wins during the regular season, but you wet the bed in the postseason. It's about the fact that Jerry Jones is 81 years of age. It's about the fact that when we look at the personnel on the Dallas Cowboys, we expect better come postseason time. It's about the mandate that you took the job knowing what the mandate existed, and you failed to live up to it for 4
Correct.
years. That's what this is about. And how does it end, Dio? You walk into a postseason game on your home turf. Kansas City won at home. Okay, Houston won at home when everybody was talking about Cleveland. Detroit won at home. Who's the one team that lost the home game? The team that was 16-0 over the last 16 home games. That's the Dallas Cowboys. And how did they lose? Because we're literally looking at them and saying they're ill-prepared. They got outplayed. We saw Musgrave wide open. We saw Dobbs wide open. I'm talking about you didn't see a defender in the vicinity. We saw more hits of Dan Quinn, who also has to go, by the way. We saw more hits of Dan Quinn on the big screen than we saw Dallas defenders in the vicinity of Green Bay Packer wide receivers. That's what we're talking about here. They were ill-prepared for a playoff game, and it's not about them being inept, Dan. It's about the fact that you got guys that are available now, a Harbaugh, a Belichick, that you know something like that would not happen. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They got to go.
Yeah. There's no way that Jerry Jones can sit here and tell anybody, Cowboys Nation, the reporters, all of us, that he's serious about winning a Super Bowl unless he restarts everything. I would restart everything if I was Jerry Jones. We are what we are. Now, there's a couple things I want to push back on, Stephen A. Okay, in the context of Dak Prescott, I said this last year. Everybody wants the player to be as good as the person, and that's not the case. Okay, Dak is a 10 out of 10 human being, and he's a good player, but he's a better person than he is in player. I do think that when he stands there and owns it every single time, that should be appreciated. I'll push back. I understand where you're coming from with that does matter, because so often we do have moments when players do finger point. And to be the quarterback of the Cowboys and to consistently fall short in the playoffs and never run from it, I don't think we gloss over that, okay? I'll push back on you with that. This is why I think you have to change everything, Stephen A. and Shannon, because Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy together, they're 13-15 versus teams that end the season with a winning record. They're below average against good to very good football teams. Dak is going to cost $60+ million next year, even if they change his contract. At some point, you have to be honest about who you are. At some point, you can't sit here and make those cool audio clips and say that noise you hear late in the Texas night, that's me laying awake dreaming about a Super Bowl. There's no way that you can sell us that lie anymore, Jerry Jones. If you really believe that you want more than anything to get one more Super Bowl, you have to restart at every major position or decision-making process
I don't want to interrupt
in the
you.
organization.
One sec, Stephen A. I just want to get this on the record. So what do you mean by restart everything? You're getting rid of Dak. You're getting rid of McCarthy. What's happening?
Yep.
Tell me.
I'm getting rid of those three pivotal pieces. Dak, McCarthy, and Dan Quinn, I would get rid of. And I understand it's absurd. And could we get worse? Yes. It's going to be hard to find a quarterback that is going to play at MVP level. But in the last three playoff losses, he's got 5 interceptions and 10 picks. Against Green Bay and San Francisco, those two guys together, they're 0-5. They lose by an average of 13 points. So as far as like those major focal pieces, I would restart everywhere.
No. Shannon, before I get to you, let me say a couple of quick things. Number one, I think that's ridiculous. I'm not getting rid of Dak Prescott. Before this game, he was an MVP candidate. I'm not getting rid of him. That's number one. Okay? And I think because the coach, I think coaching, and Shannon has emphasized that a lot with all the times he's mentioned Mike Shanahan, obviously, and obviously he played for Harbaugh as well. So when you look at it from that perspective, the bottom line is this. I'm not getting rid of Dak Prescott. But here's another reason why. Just to throw this out, and then I'll hand it to you, Shannon. Look at Dallas's defense yesterday. 0 sacks on Jordan Love, 0 takeaways, allowed TDs on 6 of Green Bay's first 7 possessions, allowed 60% on third down conversions, allowed 4 Packer touchdowns in 4 red zone trips, and they allowed 415 yards of offense on only 54 plays, which is 7.7 yards a play. Even though Dak was god-awful, and I don't want to hear from him when it comes to endorsing his coach right now, to me, the defense was more culpable in what
Yeah.
transpired yesterday
I agree.
than Dak Prescott, even with the 2 interceptions and the pick six.
I agree. Check this out, Stephen A. Do you know that the Green Bay Packers have more playoff wins in AT&T Stadium than the Dallas Cowboys themselves? And that's the Cowboys' home stadium. And the Green Bay Packers have more playoff wins in that building than the Cowboys. You see what happens? Here's the problem, because Jerry Jones tells us every year these teams that he has assembled has more talent, look just as good as those teams that won the Super Bowl. And I'm like, Jerry, are you crazy? Do you understand what you're saying? The team, you got to let these teams do something before you credit them for doing nothing. They've won nothing, and you say, oh, they remind me, they're just, really? Do you know? I don't think Jerry understands just how good those Super Bowl teams that he had in the 90s were, or he would never put these teams in the teens and the 20s alongside those. That's his own fault. I don't know if you get rid of Dak, because like you said, what are you going to replace him with? Mike McCarthy is an easy fix given what's out there and available. I believe there are coaches out there available that's better than Mike McCarthy. Remember, Mike McCarthy had years of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, guys that won 7 MVPs. 7. So, no, yeah, but things got to change. Dan Quinn's got to go.
Here's where I'm struggling, Shannon. Here's where I'm struggling, Shannon, and mostly with Stephen A., I guess, and central to the Dak point. Again, Dak's a good player. He is bordered on being a really good player. There is that reality. Stephen A., you just said he has a winning record in every month but January. We know what has happened in the last 3 out of the last 4 playoff games. He has not played well. It isn't just Dak or what else. It's if you are going to reset something, okay, you're going to probably get a new coach. So now that new coach has to come in and accept the guy that you said, Stephen A., has a winning record every month but January, and we're going to pay him $60 million? And we're just completely okay with that? When you watched yesterday afternoon a young man go on the road in his first playoff game, and let's be honest, let's take emotion, it wasn't close performance-wise.